Good morning, folks. Would-be farmer here. I'm usually on about issues concerning organic gardening, foraging, permaculture, homesteading, minimalism, etc. Well, today I'd like to talk about my experience with COVID-19. And we all have a little bit of a different experience with it. We're bombarded with media information, some misinformation, some exaggeration, some facts. How do we know? We don't know. So we opine, we talk, we throw information out there. We tend to put out that information which agrees with what we already perceive to be true, correct? So we don't go out there and we don't seek information necessarily. Many times we seek affirmation. If I see something that makes sense with what I already believe to be true, I'm going to go with it. Probably not going to challenge myself. Because that can be difficult, because challenging that which I already believe to be true means I may have to change. I may have to change my philosophy, my practices, my acts, what I do and don't do. Change the way I think. So anyway, this is my experience. 2 weeks ago, it was Friday around noon, 3rd of April. I had just done routine grocery shopping. Stopped at our local Save-A-Lot in Winn-Dixie and picked up a few things. Got home, it was around noon, and keep in mind I wore bandana and gloves. Tried to do my shopping as responsibly as I could. When I got home, my chest started feeling heavy, had shortness of breath. I noticed I had a slight cough. That slight cough I had been experiencing for a few days, but I didn't really think much about it because I had gone through my typical spring allergies. So that really didn't bother me too much. But now my chest was full. I talked to Jan about it, and she said, well, let's take your temperature. Well, it was 100.9. And that's not crazy. My temperature is typically around 97. In the 97 range. So that's about a 4 degree change. 97, yeah, okay. So, I had body aches. I had tightness in my chest. I had neck pain. I had a strong headache right across here. I had the cough. I had a temperature that wasn't an ER temperature, but it was a temperature nonetheless. So, first thing I did was I got on our local Facebook page for our town, and I said, hey, it just got real with me. I've got some stuff going on here. I just wanted to let you know I was at Save-A-Lot in Winn-Dixie, and if I've got this thing, I may have exposed others. Somebody suggested, well, you need to call your medical provider. So I said, oh, okay. Didn't really, okay, can't hurt. So, I am a member of the VA Health Service. So I called the VA hotline, and the gentleman who answered the phone walked me through all the questions. And I answered them. I answered them truthfully. And he said, at the end of it, he said, you need to go to the ER. I need to go to the ER? This isn't bad. This is something. And I asked him, I said, are you an administrator? He said, no, I'm a nurse. I said, okay. The nurse tells you to go to the ER, you go to the ER. So I get to the ER, which is an hour and a half away for us, but that's not that big of a deal because I wasn't in dire straits. Had I been in dire straits, I would have seen one of the small hometown doctors in my little bitty town here. So, he runs me through the temperatures and on and on and on. He said, and who told you to come to the ER? Basically, this doc was like, you didn't you didn't need to be here. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I didn't want to waste your time. No, you're not wasting my time. So I was screened outside the hospital. They didn't let anybody who came in for COVID-19 screening in the hospital. We had tents outside the hospital. So that's how that worked. And then he said, well, we'll test you for it. He said, now this is an uncomfortable test. I said, okay, well, I will sit on my hands and do my best. Well, they bring this, well, all I can describe it is it's a 9-inch nail, and they're going to jam it up through here into your sinus cavity. They're basically sticking an ice pick in your brain. Now, if you can sit through that, good on you. I've had sinus surgery, so I don't know if that changed my process a little bit, but it makes my face hypersensitive. It certainly may, but I could not endure that, and he could not get all the way back to the pharynx, I guess, to get a swab. Couldn't do it. So he said, well, we'll test it, but it's probably going to be negative, but we'll send the test in. And he went on to explain that the way you beat this thing is you fight it like the flu. I said, fight it like the flu. I said, I haven't had the flu, and I can't tell you when. I haven't had a flu shot in 30 years. And he looked at me real funny. I don't get sick. I'm lean, I'm healthy, I exercise, I have a good diet. I don't get sick. It's another reason why I felt like it was okay to go to the ER after that nurse talked to me. Plus, after the nurse on the phone talked to me, took my temperature about a half hour later, and it had gone from 100.9 to 101.6. So it was going up. So I was like, yeah, okay, ER makes sense. But this doc was like, you didn't need to be at the ER. Okay. Well, now, update. It's been 2 weeks today. And the doc told me, when he was treating me the day I went into the ER, he told me that the test would take 4 days. So that was the 3rd on a Friday. So 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Let's add a couple of days for the weekend. 9th. Okay, so the 9th. I should have heard something. It's now the 17th. I've heard nothing from the VA. Not a text, not a phone call, not an email from them concerning my COVID test. But I have gotten emails from them. I've gotten routine emails from the VA. Get your stuff figured, just the standard generic emails I get. I got an email on an upcoming routine physical appointment I'm supposed to have, which they're not supposed to do. And it said, if you need to come, blah, blah, blah. If you don't, blah, blah, blah. I got 2 phone calls for that same matter. But nobody left any messages or mentioned anything about my COVID test. So, I don't care where you look. My experience is we don't know what we're doing with this COVID stuff. We don't. That's as scary as any statistic I can see out there, as any piece of data, any datum that is sent my way. That is just as scary. My experience, they don't know it. So did I have Corona? I'm thinking I probably had a Corona Light. No lime,